You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
The Tigers are still trying to get some things figured out. We'll recap games against Rice and Wichita State, sit down with Jaylen Young, and look ahead to Temple on the road and Tulane right here at FedEx Forum. It's The Penny Hardaway Show. Let's go.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers.
The Tigers are still a work in progress. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Woloshyn.
And I'm Matt Infield. Let's check out the highlights against Rice and Wichita State. Tigers home on a Wednesday night for a battle with Rice. Our defensive player of the week is David Jones. He had 4 steals in the game, also hit this huge 3 to give the Tigers a late lead. Unfortunately, Memphis couldn't finish the job. Tied at 65 when Travis Evie puts Rice ahead with a tray of his own. Tigers drop a tough one to start the week to Rice, 74-71. Looking for the season sweep of Wichita State on Saturday. They trail for most of the game, but Jones put the cape on late. In transition, flyby, long ball, book it. Lead cut to 9. Just over 3 to play. This time, Jones driving baseline, takes the hit, count it and 1. He'd finish the 3-point play and cut the lead to 3. Same deficit, under 2.5 to play. Apologies for this ref in the way, but Jones from downtown again, you bet, putting the team on his back. Game tied at 58 apiece. Now Tigers down 2 in the final minute. Javon Quitterly was 0 of 12 from the field, but never lost confidence. Shot number 13, an enormous 3 to put Memphis up 1. And you know who our outstanding performer of the week is. Tie game with under 10 seconds left. Jones, jumper for the lead, bottoms. Memphis goes up 2. Last gasp by the Shockers, no good. Jones with 16 points in the last 7:39 of the game to help carry the Tigers to a much-needed win.
Coach, I always love talking about the staff because they all travel with us and everybody's gotten to know everybody. It truly is like family. Well, let's start with what we've already mentioned, Chief of Staff. That, of course, the great Dwight Boyd, who, by the way, you compete every week in practice with free throws. You know he's the #1 all-time free throw shooter in the school's history.
Yeah, I know Dwight, terrific player, great free throw shooter, but he's losing in that free throw game.
Ah.
I hate to put that out there, but
there is Daryl Turner, too. You really went and got a guy out of football to become your guy, because he is special.
Yeah, Daryl is the man because he's the one that keeps everyone healthy, keeps everyone sane. Even when they think they have something more serious, he'll calm them down and say, hey, it's just this. He's the guy that makes this thing float, because he has to keep everyone healthy, hydrated, and making sure that they're preventative on the injuries.
We talked about Darby Rich earlier this year, the head strength coach. Obviously, worked here before. You went back, got him again. How instrumental has he been this year?
Oh, Darby's the same way as Daryl. Both of those guys are so instrumental and so big for the program because they have to really pump these guys up mentally and physically with Darby because he's a strength coach and he played basketball, so he can give him some pointers on what he sees. So to me, both of those guys are well-rounded.
Other guys like behind the scenes that folks might not realize how important they are. Take a guy like Jordan Verhulst. Most of the time, you will assign an assistant like Rick Stansberry or Faraji Phillips, and you'll rotate that scout of the other teams because that's a lot of work. You're different that way. You do it with Jordan, and that's for every single opposition, and that's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's the toughest thing to do because you usually divvy it out to all of the assistants, and they rotate every 3 games, and guys get ahead, and it makes it really easy. But Jordan has taken on the task with myself to do every game. And he does a phenomenal job of the tendencies, how to guard guys. I really give him all the credit. I do my own studying, and then we get together and put our brains together, and he's done a terrific job.
One of the biggest buzzwords in sports right now, analytics. You have a guy for that as well, Andy Pennington. I know you said that you are more of an eye test guy, but you are open to the analytics and the new numbers coming in. What's your relationship like with him?
Andy and I have been friends for a while. He's always been a guy that's given me information over the years, even if when he wasn't working here. But what he does, he gives me the numbers on every statistical category for our team, the team that we're playing, and the teams that are in our league, and what they're doing in field goal percentage, defense. I want to know who the best defensive teams are, who creates the most turnovers, who scores the most points, which is Tulane, and know all those stats. And then when you go into the game, look at side-by-side numbers. The red areas are the bad, the green areas are good, and you just start comparing and seeing where you really have to focus on for the scouts.
The analytics thing is interesting to me because it's a new wrinkle. Nobody had an analytics guy until maybe the last 5 years?
Yeah, it might have been far longer than that, but in the college level, gotten more into analytics. The NBA started it a little while ago, but it used to be an old guy on the sideline going, that guy can really shoot. That was don't leave him open. That was analytics back in our day.
Well, I think that you've mentioned before, the favorite thing that he brings is probably you guys have like heat maps, right? Where like certain guys are hot on the floor, cold spots, right? That's something you really like?
Yeah, I love the heat maps because it shows a guy's tendencies on where he likes to shoot the ball from the most at the highest clips. And you want to keep him away from those areas. You want to take him in the areas where he least likes, and always trying to force guys to their weaknesses.
You have another guy named Demetrius Dyson. Tell us exactly what he does for you.
Yeah, Demetrius, he was a GA, and now he's graduated from that into a higher role of just really helping out wherever he can. He's really a basketball guy that understands the game. He's around the guys. He's around their age. He's only like 28 years old, so he's close enough. And he played the game at a high level at UMass and Samford. And he just does a great job of just building relationships with the guys, doing whatever we need around the building.
Though a lot of people think that you do all the recruiting stuff by yourself, and obviously you're a big part of that, but Jeremy Kipnis is also involved in that. Talk about his role in making sure that guys, you pull in the players you want.
Yeah, Jeremy does a great job of understanding what talent is around not only the Southeast, but around the country. And gives me the heads up, shows me videos on even some hidden gems, not only the big names, but the guys that a lot of people aren't really looking at that might be up and coming, and does a terrific job of that.
You also have the luxury of, and we need it in this day and age with all the injuries, of having a rehab guy on your staff here for practices, on the road for most of the games, in Kevin Olds.
Yeah, Kevin Olds and I go back so far. He was training me and working me out and doing therapy sessions with me when I was in the NBA. And we gained a really great relationship that when I got the job, I knew I had to have him. He's the best in the business of preventative, and he's the best in the business of getting you back on the court faster after you've had an injury.
Got to show the new equipment guys some love. That's Peter Warren this year. Talk about what he's brought.
Yeah, Peter's just a true professional. He's like on the water board when they're testing the water out. He's the guy that's the highest professional level when it comes to equipment manager. He just does everything at a high level.
And those guys move around quite a bit. You've had now a couple, because I believe Pete's now going to be a major league Detroit Tiger equipment guy.
So we've had a couple guys. One of our managers and Andy Borman have teamed up to be the guys to kind of take on that task right now. But Pete is still a little involved.
What's the next slot you think you're going to have to fill?
Psychiatrists. Yeah. Really. You're going to have to get mental health, getting to understand the guys better. Psychology, all of that, because it's not a negative. It's just kind of getting to know the young men better, getting them to open up, to talk to me, and that's the next step, because sports psychologists coming in and just really trying to get these guys to relax, because it's a lot of pressure.
Jaylen Young has had a lot of stops in his collegiate career. Now he's in Memphis. We'll document his journey coming up next.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to the Penny Hardaway Show. Jaylen Young has had a long, winding collegiate career, from not playing his freshman year to a couple of years at a JUCO to finally getting his shot. He's had to overcome the odds time and time again. Young grew up in Dallas and had plenty of high-level competition to test himself against.
In middle school, I got to play against Tyrese Maxey, Chris Harris. We had a little rival in middle school. High school, we had the same rival again. We went to rival high school, so we always went at each other. Then when I first picked up basketball in 7th grade, I just thought it was great.
Were there any other passions, anything else that you were really interested in growing up in besides sports?
Gaming. I felt like I was really great at gaming, so I was like, I could do this too if basketball falls off or if I have a career-ending injury. So I was like, I could do gaming.
Do you have a thought of doing it professionally?
Yes, I do.
What are you best at?
2K. 2K, Call of Duty. I'm great at everything.
Young didn't have a ton of colleges coming after him out of high school. He ended up going to Grambling State, where he redshirted his freshman year.
I just wanted to get better in that year. I didn't want to waste the year. I was like, I'm gonna just get better, use this year to get stronger and stuff. Cause I came into college at 140 something, 135.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same height you are now?
No.
A little bit shorter?
Probably like 5'10", 5'11".
That freshman year with the Grambling Tigers was no walk in the park for Young, especially because of a senior guard named Ivy Smith Jr.
He was just at me the whole practice, no breaks. Every play was at me just the whole time. It helped me get better, but it was just like, man, because I've never seen a guard as shifty and quick as him, so he was just cooking me the whole practice. And then I was struggling adjusting to the schedule because there was really no set schedule, so we have practice at like 8 a.m. and then we have one at like 12. I was like, man, this is tough. On top of classes too.
Young only spent 1 year at Grambling before transferring to Baton Rouge Community College, where he spent 2 seasons. What was the biggest jump you made in those 2 years at Baton Rouge? You finally got real playing time, you were putting up numbers. Where did you feel like you made the biggest leap there?
I would think with my defense and my rebounding, because up until then I didn't rebound and I didn't play as hard defensively. So when I put on the weight and stuff, I realized I had the reaction speed. So I was like, I could be a way better defender.
After his JUCO experience, Young had 2 primary pursuers, Cal Poly and UCF. In the end, Orlando was his landing spot.
Really the city. I love the city. And I was just like, I feel like Coach Dawkins was a great coach and that was good for me.
Young played against Memphis 3 times last year, and when he entered the portal after the season, one sent came calling.
I do remember him calling me. I was like, there's no way this is Penny right now. Because he sent me a text first. I was like, man, he's just playing. And then when he called, I was like, wow, that's him. It felt great, honestly, because I was like, I just played against him. I showcased my talent. I feel like I showed what I can really do. And now that he won me, it just made me feel great.
Maybe compared to some of the other portal additions like David and Jaquan, Javon come to mind, maybe you weren't as high profile of an addition at first, but obviously you've shown what you could do here. But fly under the radar, did that fuel you at all?
A little bit, yeah. Because I was like, I'm talented too, just like the rest of the guys. I can show what I can do. So I was just using that as fuel to keep me going.
The defensive intensity, where does that come from?
My AAU coach, he got onto me because all the way up until my senior year, I never played defense. I would just like funnel everything to my brother and he would block a shot and I'd just get the rebound and go score in transition. But it was just one game he got onto me. It was like, man, you way better than that. You gotta be a better defender. So that's when I just started caring. He was like, turn people 2 or 3 times and you'll be good. And I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Do you feel like you're an underdog story?
I do. I want people to see my story and be able to look up to it and be like, oh, they never want to give up just like me.
As for what motivates Young beyond winning and proving doubters wrong, that's an easy answer.
I would say my mom, honestly. She's talked to me every day. She was like, you need to be Jaylen the whole time. She was like, I can tell you was in a slump or something, you had something going on. She was like, you're not being yourself, so I just need you to get back to that.
How much of an inspiration is she for you?
Oh, big inspiration. She showed me you can do anything. Like, even when we didn't have it, she would provide for us. She would find a way to do it, so she's my reason to play.
Coach, I remember the first time I talked to you about Jaylen Young, it was in preparation for you guys playing UCF. Talk about this young man, in particular, his role. I know it's high defense.
Yeah, his role is to come in and really just get after it from start to finish. He's a high-level defensive player that comes in and just tries to cause all kind of havoc. And great young man. I noticed him at Central Florida last year when we played them both games was really, a big part of them beating us at UCF and almost beating us here in Memphis, and just watching him the rest of the year and just saying, with Alo leaving, that if he was a guy that became available, that we would want him. And when he got into the portal, reached out to him, and he was very interested as well.
This young man, I see what you did there. How much does he remind you of Alo? Because that natural comparison has been there the entire year.
Yeah, Alo has been with me for 11 years, so it's hard to kind of replace that. But he is a guy that I respect, that wants to get out there and guard the other team's best guard and do it at a high level for however many minutes he plays.
As we are a little bit more than halfway through here, what are the things you would like to see Jaylen get a little bit better at?
I want him to get offensive-minded more of an offensive threat, because people don't respect him for that. That's something that he can do that is kind of falling by the wayside because he's just kind of taking on this challenge of being the best defender. But he has opportunities to be more aggressive, and I want him to be more aggressive.
He can kind of jump out the gym a little bit for a guy his size too. Where can he get his buckets?
Transition, he can go coast to coast because of his athleticism and do that. And then also being on the wing, playing out of closeouts. Either take the three or get into the paint and then create a shot for yourself.
I didn't realize what a great leaper he is. I mean, obviously he's shorter, but just sheer lift. Is he the best jumper on the team?
I would think so because of his height. His vertical leap would be the highest on the team, sure.
How much of a priority was it when you saw him in the portal to get him in here?
It was a huge priority because I knew what he would bring to the table. Coachable, great guy, and it will run through a wall for myself and the team.
Returning to the side of Kendrick Davis's buzzer beater last year at a revenge game at home, we'll preview Temple and Tulane coming up next.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
Obviously, every stretch now is important, but this one you got Philly, Temple, you're on the road for that one, and then you got a little rematch with Tulane.
Yeah, it's always hard to go to Temple. If you remember last year, KD hit a last-second shot against Nick Jourdain to win the game, and that wasn't the first option, but he told Jonathan Lawson, you better throw me the ball, and I'm glad Jonathan Lawson threw him the ball. But it was always tough to play there. And then, Tulane, they beat us 2 times last year, lost to them earlier this year. Looking forward to both of those games.
Tulane, is it personal once again?
It's always personal with Tulane. They always have all kind of stuff. They storm the floor at Tulane, lock my man Dave Jones down. I mean, it's always good, though, because I respect that team. I respect Forbes, I respect Cross, I respect Sion Jane, all those guys. Coach does a great job with that team.
Yeah, and you and Coach, round 2, maybe a little shout.
Yeah, we'll go round 2 this time on Beale Street.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
My money's on Penny if it's a showdown with Ron Hunter. Back with a wrap in a minute.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next Sunday night. Have a great week, everybody.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from #1. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone, and supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.